welcome or welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today we are going to rank Ariana Grande's best album. This album has been out for just over a week and I think that's given me plenty of time to gather all my opinions and actually rank this album. For the past week, this is the only album that I have actually been listening to, and I've heard a lot of people say this, but it genuinely does feel so wrong if I listen to anything that isn't Eternal Sunshine. I could genuinely talk about this album for hours on end. Do I even need to explain how this is Ariana's best album? I mean, it demonstrates her best vocal ability, her best writing. The whole album follows such a cohesive, I definitely butcher that word, such a cohesive story. I just can't even put into words how perfect this album is. I'm also so glad that Ariana took the time away from music to allow herself to fall in love with it again. I think that if we didn't have that, then we wouldn't have this album. Okay, so we're going to start by going through the tier ranking system. The top tier is Changed My Life. These are the songs that quite frankly did change my life. In all honesty, I don't think my life has actually been the same since listening to this album. In that sense, this whole album has changed my life, but I can't put all the songs in that category, so we're going to maybe have to be a little bit harsh. And I just want to say, there is not a single skip on this album, there is not a single bad song on this album. So maybe this is gonna be a little bit tricky. The songs that belong in that category are my favourites of the favourites, like the ones that I rush to listen to. And below that category, we have I Am In Love. So these are the songs that maybe didn't change my life in the same way that the top tier songs changed my life. They might be my favourite songs, but not my favourite songs. So below that category, we have Cute Little Song. Again, these are good songs, but they don't hit like the other ones do. We have one more category, which is called Air. I didn't really know what to title this category. I suppose these are the songs which I may have a little bit of mixed views on. Like I say, there is not a single skip on this album, there is not a bad song, but there might be some songs on this album that I have kind of mixed views on. That doesn't mean that it is a bad song, but it just means that I've got something to say about it. And before we get into this, do give this video a thumbs up if you do enjoy and subscribe down below if you haven't already. So shall we get into the ranking? And we're starting with the intro, End of the World. Now, I feel like intro is going to go in Cute Little Song, purely just because it is an intro. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say it's just an intro, because it is so much more than that. Especially compared to her other intros. The way that this album starts sets us up for the rest of the album. It sets the tone. We start with the question, how can I tell if I'm in the right relationship? And then throughout the album, we eventually get to the answer of that in the last song, Ordinary Things. I feel like throughout the whole album, Ariana is kind of searching for that answer. And that is symbolised throughout the polarising views of different songs. I mean, we know what Ariana can do with intros. I do think, though, this intro did kind of change my life. Because like I say, all of these songs could go into Changed My Life. But that's not gonna happen. So the next song is Bye. Bye is such a perfect way to follow the intro, being the first proper track on the album. We're saying bye to this relationship. So Bye is going to go I Am In Love. I feel like I sleep on this song a little bit. I will admit that. Maybe I don't appreciate this song enough, and maybe there will come a day where it is literally in like my top 3 songs on this album. It's definitely high up in my ranking, just not top tier. I love the energy of this song. We're dancing through this heartache. It's the energy you need when you're going through a breakup. The next track is Don't Wanna Break Up Again. This is the first track I'm going to put in the Changed My Life category. This song quite literally did change my life. The lyrics are a genius. The message of what she's saying is genius. I feel like it deserves a separate video for me to actually go through how I interpret each song, because I know that music is a very subjective thing, I suppose, and you can listen to a song and it could mean something completely different to how it was actually supposed to be interpreted. If you listen to a song and it makes sense to be about a specific thing, then you have every right to view it in that way. Anyway, I'm kind of getting off track there. Don't Wanna Break Up Again is one of the songs which I go back to listen to. I feel like we really go on a little journey with this song. I really hate the word journey. We go on a roller coaster with this song. The first few lines absolutely break me, and I don't think anything else needs to be said about that. And I suppose it kind of begins the story. We go from saying bye to this relationship, but then the next track is basically her saying that she doesn't want to say bye to it. So it's very much that polarizing emotion. So next up we have Saturn Returns Interlude. Now, if I'm going to listen to this album, I probably will listen to it from the start to the end. But sometimes, I can't lie, I will skip this. I feel like this one is quite different to analyse and rank because it isn't necessarily a song. And I think that every song on this album has its own place. It's in the perfect place and it's there for a reason. Each song is meant to be in the place that it is. This album wouldn't work if one of the songs wasn't there. So Saturn Returns Interlude, I'm going to have to put it in the bottom category. Next up we have the title track Eternal Sunshine, and this might be my favourite track off the album. I mean, we'll get to it. That definitely is going in Changed My Life. Eternal Sunshine again is another track that I would love to go into more about what it's about. This song is just perfect. It's genius. The lyrics are genius. Next up we have Supernatural, which again changed my life. It is a banger, and honestly don't really have anything more to say about that one. Okay, so the next song is True Story. Before I actually go into these next few songs, these next songs have the perfect placement in the album, and the fact that we've got True Story, The Boy Is Mine, Yes and We Can't Be Friends all one after another, she definitely did that on purpose, and I haven't heard enough people talk about this. I am planning on filming a video about that placement. So in True Story, Ariana is playing with the idea that the media likes to paint her out to be someone she's not, and I think she does that very well. However, in terms of the sound of the song, it's not my favourite. So does that mean it has to go into Air? Because I kind of have mixed views on it. So the next track we have is The Boy Is Mine. The Boy Is Mine is a banger, and again, it's a song I definitely need to go into more. She's basically continuing the story that she's saying in True Story. I think in Caitlin Marie's reaction video to this album, she mentioned how it's basically like a blank space, Ariana's version of blank space. I wouldn't say that this song is my favourite song from this album. I'll be honest, in other people's reaction videos, it seems to have taken them a long time for this song to grow on them. However, when I listen to this song in public with my headphones on, it makes me strut. I feel like I'm Beyonce listening to this, like I'm doing a little catwalk. So I am going to have to put this song in I Am in Love. But maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. So the next track is Yes And. I feel like I have a lot to say about this song. I have a lot to say about it. I feel like this song gets way too much hate. I can't understand how people say that it doesn't fit on this album. To me, it fits perfectly, especially considering what I just said about the track structure. Again, it's kind of continuing that theme of what True Story goes into. Yes And was the first single from this album. I think there's a few reasons why she did that. Firstly, it is the most pop song on the album. I feel like Yes is a little bit different to the rest of the album. I know that Ariana said in, I think it was her Zach Sang interview, that Yes And exists on its own, but I kind of disagree with that. Like I say, I feel like it fits perfectly in the placement that it is. In terms of the sound of it though, I kind of see where she might be coming from there. And I'll be honest, the first time I listened to this song, I wasn't a huge fan of the sound of it, but this song goes through so much. It really links with the other themes and stuff that she talks about. And the fact that it was the first single, I don't think she wanted to give too much away from what other things that the album was about. But we start with the lyric, in case you haven't noticed, everybody's tired and healing from somebody. I don't even remember the lyric. But then she goes on to say something about something we don't see just right, which again goes back to songs like True Story. I think there's a lot of lyric parallels as well in Yes And to other songs. In Bye, she says, I'll take what's mine. In Yes And, she says, my energy is yours. And no, she doesn't say that. So in Bye, she says, I'm taking what's mine. And in Yes And, she says, my energy is mine and yours is yours. Or is it the other way round? So Yes And is going to go in Little Cute Song. The next song is We Can't Be Friends, Wait for Your Love. And this, without a doubt, goes into Changed My Life. Because this song, yes, did change my life. I don't think any song in existence has ever changed my life the way that this one has. This is definitely a song that I definitely need to go into in more detail, but again I feel like it links a lot with the placing of True Story, The Boy Is Mine, Yes And. I just truly think that We Can't Be Friends is one of the greatest songs ever written. In this song, she's definitely continuing with the themes of being in the public eye and a relationship to the media. I mean, like I say, with any song, you could interpret this song in any way that makes sense to you. But truly, what else can I say? I think that it's between We Can't Be Friends and Eternal Sunshine as to which song is my favourite. So next up, we have I Wish I Hated You. This song is sad. So for that reason, this is also probably a song which I listen to the least, but that's just because it's sad. I'm going to put it in Cute Little Song. The emotion that Ariana puts into this song absolutely breaks my heart, and maybe that's why I don't listen to it as much. She really doesn't want to say the words I wish I hated you. Okay, so the next song is Imperfect for You. Now, I am going to put this in the bottom category, but like the top of the bottom category. And that is purely just because I have mixed views on this song, and I think this category was made for Imperfect for You. I don't think it's a bad song, and I really want to make that clear. But there's parts of this song which aren't really my vibe. And I feel like this song goes on a roller coaster, and I feel like it's meant to, because the whole point of the song is she's saying that these two people are so imperfect, and that's what makes them so perfect for each other. I also saw Caitlin Marie say this in her video. The word imperfect in itself is I'm perfect. And I think that the structure of the song and the sound of the song also goes with that idea. But there's parts of the song which sound better than others. I can't really explain it, but we will get to this. We will get back to this song. There are a lot of parallels in this album, I feel like, to other songs, whether it is songs from this album or songs from different albums, because one thing that I forgot to mention was Supernatural has a lot of parallels to Safety Net. In Supernatural, she says, "This love's possessing me, but I don't mind at all. It's taking over me, don't wanna fight the fall." In Safety Net, she says, "Don't know if I should fight or fly, but I don't mind." So another parallel, which relates to Imperfect for You, earlier in the album, in Don't Wanna Break Up Again, she says, "I'm too much for you." I feel like this is a lyric that creates the story of this relationship is falling apart because she's too much for the other person. However, in Imperfect for You, it's almost like the story of that is backwards. She's saying, "And usually I'm effed up anxious too much." And then it changes throughout the song, because the next time she says, "You said usually I'm effed up anxious too much." And then the last time she says it, she says, "I know we'll be there for each other when we're feeling effed up anxious too much." Okay, so the last song from the standard version of Eternal Sunshine is Ordinary Things, featuring Nonna. Now, in terms of the sound of this song, I can't lie, it isn't my favourite. Does that mean it's gonna have to go in? No, I'm putting this in cute song, because it is a cute song, especially with the message of it. And this whole song, I feel like, answers the question, how can I tell if I'm in the right relationship? But particularly with what her Nonna says at the end. She says, "Never go to bed without kissing goodnight. That's the worst thing to do. Don't ever do that. And if you can't, and if you don't feel comfortable doing it, you're in the wrong place. Get out." Okay, so now we're going to move on to the slightly deluxe tracks. So we have 4 tracks here. I'm also just thinking, there is a version of the album called Slightly Deluxe. So does that mean we're going to get another version, which is like the full deluxe? Okay, so the first song we have from the Slightly Deluxe is Supernatural with Troye Sivan. I've only heard this song once, but I don't know, there is something about it that actually really works, and I don't usually like remixes, which we'll get to, but I don't know, there is something that Troye adds to this song, and I don't know what that something is. The thing is, if I'm going to listen to the song Supernatural, I'm not going to listen to this version. I am probably going to listen to the original, but that doesn't mean to say that this isn't a good song. This goes in little cute song. Okay. I don't know if I was cancelled for my last opinion about Imperfect for You, but I hope that this can uncancel me. So the next song we've got is Imperfect for You Acoustic. This version is going to go in I Am in Love. One thing I will say about the original version of Imperfect for You is, to me, it sounds a little bit unfinished. And I mean that in the way that I'm saying that it's kind of supposed to. I prefer more of a smooth track. So the next track is True Story a cappella. Now that I'm looking at this, maybe I have put True Story in the wrong place. I think that means that I'm going to have to move True Story into Cute Little Song. I feel like the category Cute Little Song though is a little bit of a cop-out category because I feel like I've just put everything in there because I'm scared to put them anywhere else. I can't really work out if I prefer the original True Story or the a cappella version, but I have only heard the a cappella version once, so maybe I just haven't heard it enough to actually judge. Because I've only heard it once and it isn't a song which I would rush back to, I'm going to have to say air. Okay, lastly we have Yes and the remix with Mariah Carey. This song got a lot of hate, like people had some stuff to say about this song. As much as I particularly, for the most part, agree with what people are saying about this song, I'm not gonna be one of those people that just vocally complain about this because this is massive for Ariana. Mariah Carey is literally one of the reasons why she sings, one of her biggest inspirations. Yes, I'm not the biggest fan of it, but the fact that she's literally collabing with her idol is insane. That all being said though, I am putting this in the air category. So, this is my final ranking of the album. I hope that this isn't too controversial. Like I say, there is genuinely not a bad song about this album. I don't think I could even say one bad thing about it. Yes, there's some stuff that I kind of have mixed views on, but ultimately, this album is perfect. Quite literally destroyed me and healed me when I listened to it for the first time. This album is everything that I could ever want from an album. I honestly don't really know what else to say. I feel like I've said everything. I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know your favourite tracks from this album. I will see you very soon.